Hey, it's Antti. It is time to do the image review I promised to do, so let's check out the amazing pictures that you have been sending to the review. Intro now. Before I go any further, please check out my page about my upcoming Digital Artist Masterclass. Below in the description there's a link to the pages where I explain more about what this workshop is all about, and you can find also a free Lightroom preset bundle by me that I've been using a long time, so please subscribe to that information and receive the Lightroom bundle. And now we will move on to review. So the first image review is now. I received around 50 different kind of images, 45-ish pictures, and they are all pretty amazing. I asked you to send like maybe your best picture, so I will kind of this was the first theme. The next one I will give you in the end of this video for the next, and also the time frame in the Facebook. In the description there's a link to the Facebook group where you can find all the information and kind of send me the pictures. So let's check it out, the pictures, and I will draw also the winner in the end of the video. I'm not always going to review all the pictures, but let's see how many I will do this time. I will try to go through everything, so you'll get at least some kind of a feedback on those. So let's go into Lightroom, where I've uploaded all your images, and I will give some kind of a feedback on those. The first image, I'm not going to, if there's a watermark you can see who it's pictures, but I cannot remember so who the pictures were, and I'm just kind of blindly review those pictures. So the first picture, like a portrait, I really like the tones, I really like the retouching, it's been done pretty nicely. I like the color palette and the preciseness of the kind of retouching. It seems that this guy or girl or whoever it's done has made a lot of work on the image. There's a lot of engagement in the portrait. Really nicely retouched, and really kind of I really like this image. So thumbs up whoever made this. I think I know who made this, but this is a great picture. Nothing bad to say about this. Next up, this might be a composite image, I would reckon, and it has been done really nicely. Actually, even though there's a, you know, the angle of the picture is, the horizon is kind of skewed, it kind of brings the speed in the picture. You'll see that the dog is kind of flying in this balloon all the way, and the leaves are composite in the image. I like the color palette coming from this purplish to the kind of a warmish orange, and you can definitely see what's going on in the picture. Only thing that I think do was to take these houses away, or maybe do a kind of the trees all the way, so it would kind of make it more, in a way, bit of a more simple picture. But in overall, I think this is a pretty amazing, really nice work. Then more like a portrait stuff. More like a beauty kind of a conceptual thing. There's some things that I would kind of I think the retouching, maybe the dodge and burn might be kind of in a way too much, in a way, because you can see the highlights in a way in the nose and the cheekbones, and especially the shadows start to be slightly too deep for my taste. And I have to kind of emphasize this again. This is my view on these pictures. It's not a universal that is a wrong or right. It's just how I see the pictures. So don't take offended if I don't, you know, and make kind of a comments. But for my taste, the certain areas are too dark and certain areas are too much of a highlight. I like the concept. You could do a bit of more work on the getting rid of the stray hairs and things like that, because it makes it look kind of a messy. So the stray hairs can be retouched also. And I don't know if this picture needs this kind of a texture in the background. So a few things might improve. Less retouching, and maybe kind of open it, the shadows, make it more bright. And there's some areas, if the face is retouched really good, there's areas around here and here that the retoucher haven't, you know, touched. There's some spots and, you know, things like that. So pay more attention to the retouching. I think the concept is nice, and but sometimes slightly less is also better. Next up, I really like these pictures. There's something kind of a haunting, because you don't kind of see whose hands. It almost makes you feel like uncomfortable almost. Certain things that are the highlights, especially in the forehead and in the hand, they draw a bit too much my attention to these parts. But the other things that are in this picture, they are kind of I really like the feeling in this, and the kind of a whole concept is really cool. I really like, but the small things could kind of improve its overall. The highlights are slightly blown out, at least what I'm seeing in this picture. This is in a way kind of a funny style. I've seen these kind of a retouching done for the pictures, and they look like almost like illustrations, kind of a all the shadows are still there, but they are gone. And I'm on the fence in a way that if I like it or I don't. And usually I kind of like these kind of it's almost like a deadpan pictures. It's right in the middle, no, in a way, emotion, and the tone palette is desaturated. So in a way, as it's a really simple picture, I kind of like this, in a funny way. So good job. Only thing that there's a bit of feathering, like a retouching, blurring in the hair up here. So that could be one thing that could be fixed, but so overall it's kind of a weirdly cool picture. Okay, then I think a bit of a colored gels, a concept of like a Harlequin, horror stuff, movies influenced maybe. You know, nice complementary colors. Well, it's been shot kind of in the dark when you see that much of the pupil. I think I like that it's so, you know, concentrated on the face, but again, these color transitions, you could try kind of getting the colors more saturated, because now I think there must be too much power, because it's making these highlight places. If I squint my eyes will be drawn here in the forehead and in this place. So, but I like gels too, so try it out. You'll mix it up and you'll get always better results. Okay, then a bit of a black and white, like really black and white pictures. This was really interesting, really good retouching, conceptually really cool. I like the kind of there's a glare in both of the eyes. They are not in a way dead, so there's a bit of a haunting feeling in them. So overall, I think this is a really cool, simple thing. Only thing that is, it's not, because it's really symmetrical, but in a way it's not totally symmetrical. So I don't know how it would look that it would be totally straight, the face. And now it's like slightly off balance to the right. Next up, I know who this picture is. and I really like, in a way, the diagonal lines and, you know, square format. There's a place always for the square format when it works, and in this everything is in a way center, and it's like leading into the center. Storm had hit the broken all the trees. Only thing that we could kind of try to fix again is maybe around these darker clouds here are drawing slightly, so they could be retouched away, or then just make the clouds a bit more interesting in post production. That highlight spot, maybe that could be taken away, so it kind of draws my eye what is there. But I like the overall concept of the thing. I don't know about this tree, that could be also retouched away to these kind of things, so because now it's kind of off. But good job. Okay, then some delicate blue, soft flowing images. I really like the tones. There's a couple of things. I think the smoke has been added later on, and when you add smoke also, it you could try to tone it also, because in up here the especially the smoke seems for me that is almost like a gray smoke, and you could kind of tone that smoke also slightly to the blue so it will blend in more. But I like the whole concept. I like the shallow depth of field. I like the retouching. Maybe the stray hairs, there's some stray hairs here, could be retouched away. But I really like the moving quality of this image. Next up, more like a kind of a documentary style shot. I think we could see more or less in a way the person. These are in a way distracting also, these labels of this sleeping bag. So there's a lot of stuff going on. In a way, this image might be, let's do a bit of cropping. Let's see how it turns out if we concentrate on the dog. If there's a resolution enough, we could kind of even crop, because that's kind of a funny, the concentrate on even only the dog, get rid of the hand maybe. But you know, documentary pictures are what they are in a way, but the whole comfy dog in a blank sleeping bag is a cool thing. So another composite image. There's a couple of issues. I think the top part looks somewhat okay, but the separation, there's a kind of an edge halo here. The shadows are not that good. There's always in the shadow, there's a contact shadow and a cast shadow, and then the ambient in a way shadow. So we would need more of the contact shadow here, but overall I think the tones seems to be matching quite well. You can try my match tones thing, to put the neutral gray layer there and then push the saturation. You will see better if they are matching or not. But in a way, it's a really good starting point. This area is where I'm kind of looking that it's not, you could kind of evolve on that. Then a conceptual portrait. Washed out colors, washed out contrast. There's nothing bad to say about this. This could be a painting. This could be also, might be even stronger to get more like a panoramic picture. So you can see that it kind of changes, because then this will bring more like a diagonal line when you crop it slightly. I really like this. Don't need much of anything else. You make you wonder kind of if she's going to jump off the cliff or if she's kind of calling the raven, but you know, good story. I really like this picture. Another composite, like a squid in a coffee or tea. Not quite kind of getting the idea, but I think there's a definitely story behind. There's some koi fish and it's done pretty nicely in a way, all this stuff, but I think it needs, for me it looks like slightly raw shot, so it might benefit a bit of a color grading, get something different tones. We can even try let's say some of my presets, maybe that a Mad Men theme there might kind of make it look more interesting, to get some different tones in the picture. So all these presets are available for you guys free if you want to download, so the link is in the description. But I mean, really nice that people try these kind of concepts. Okay, then I think this is also a composite image. There's a lot of different dogs. I think the Facebook compressions is eating out slightly, but I think it's done really nicely. There's this kind of a concept of this wet, totally crappy weather to the sun, kind of switching between this. I mean, really good job on the perspective and stuff. I've seen a lot of worse stuff done. Again, maybe the shadows, they are not bad, but they could need also slightly of this contact shadow in them, but I really like, and whoever did this should be really proud and kind of continue of doing these composite images. Really, really cool stuff. I would say this is a composite stuff again. I think it's done really nicely. I mean, it makes me believe this is actually a real picture. All the reflections have been done really nicely. Kind of a only thing I would slightly distort kind of the edges because of the eyes. I think it's slightly too sharp. You kind of get slightly more texture in here. It doesn't have to be this prominent, and it could slightly fade also when it comes this way. That could make it slightly more believable. But overall, really, really cool. I like the center balance because of the lines. Both lines lead. I look straight here and I will see this light leak or light area here and here. Good job. I like the color palette and everything is really cool. Alrighty, then a bit of more darker pictures, kind of a conceptual stuff. There's added some noise in the picture. That's good because it kind of balances out the picture. Color of the hands, I think, comparing to her, might be slightly too red. This is always kind of a situation that all the fingers might be too reddish. But in a way, as a simple picture, I kind of like this also. It's a, center balance really nice, but maybe the tone of the fingers could be, again, a bit more warmer. Flowing hair, really nice portrait of a child. Nothing bad to say, really simple. You can see the eye, kind of see the person, but you don't see the person. So good job as an overall. Nothing bad to say about this either. Okay, then some landscape-ish, kind of a haunted or empty house somewhere, open doors. This could be a nice backdrop for some composite image. Good tones. We can always try how it would look with my preset with Hydro Crush. I don't know if it brings more. It definitely brings the contrast and draws more stuff. I would open up slightly. I could do a bit of a retro toning in that, maybe blue. And don't if you don't like me to kind of fix these things, I'm just kind of test out if something works better in my opinion. So I will just try out of. But I think it could also use a bit of cropping of that away. So that might be working better. Then another portrait. Shallow depth of field looks nice. Looks like glamour because of the hair and stuff. But I think the forehead and the cheekbones and slightly the nose are bit too hot, and this shoulder. So maybe just a hint less power in the flash to kind of get those parts kind of so you could kind of add the contrast and take the highlights away to get kind of to concentrate on more. So these were slightly too hot on my taste. Alrighty, next up, Santa Claus is having a good day. This is spot on. This is something really funny. Makes you laugh. Could be a commercial image. I kissed your mother, and her grandmother. Good job. So a lot of details to look here. Dark humor. I like this one. Nice tones. Okay, more like a documentary style stuff. As a kind of a documentary stuff, everything is in place. There's a cool diagonal lines. You can see the character has been doing some flights. Good black and white conversion. Good job. Okay, this is some heavy retouching, definitely. Something really cool about this, I don't know. This retoucher knows definitely what it's doing. It looks like these are almost like drawn and illustrated. This is definitely a good work, definitely. All the colors, all the small particles, really nice. This is a really cool picture of a dog that looks definitely like a slightly Indian chief, like the feathers, the long hair. So it kind of I will see a person, what kind of person this dog is. So that's always a good thing. Yeah, whoever did this should be in a way proud. This could be also a picture in the wall. Really nice. Alrighty, this is definitely a composite image. Background is changed. I think this is like a personal shot of the cameraman behind this image, maybe. Couple of things in a way I try to stay away. I think the edge is a bit too hard here in the hair. Could be softened up slightly because it looks like it's cut out. This is something I try to stay away. This is, this nose light, when the separation here is slightly too much in the front, so it will give also the light to the nose, so it kind of loses the shadow quality on this side of the nose. But as overall, I like the tones, but could use slightly smoothing or softening out the hair over here, because even the light could kind of bleed slightly on front. So good job. Kind of a haunting composite glass water. I I would say that this picture might be even better without this face, so let's try to crop it out. Because I think it's stronger only with that person there, my opinion. So good job on there. Composite, I think it looks slightly too like a HDR-ish. Too much of a heavy retouching, the tones and some retouching stuff. It's when you look at the picture, you don't know where to look in a way, even though the person is the main thing here, but it's really hard to kind of because there's shadows here and highlights here, so there's a lot of stuff, so I think less could be also more in this picture. Okay, winter portrait, a bit of a natural light. I think the face is kind of a too wide. I think that's where we're kind of heading to, but I think it's out this kind of a flat light, it's the kind of a shape of the face. I like the red on the whole white, but there's some straying branches and things like that could be fixed, and maybe do slightly of a vignette even. Let's try a bit of my kind of even the hard crush could kind of bring more stuff and kind of take the highlight, but definitely the vignette, if we slightly take the concentrate on the center, that might bring more. Kind of hard to say. Then a dancer or a jumper, whoever. I think the tones, this is in a way too simple of a picture. It's a floor and then a white overexposed. I don't know if it's a composite or this is done later on. The tones, the skin tones are kind of a purplish and slightly like overexposed. So it would benefit, it might be even better on black and white. I mean, to kind of stop the jump in mid-air, you would need some kind of a longer shutter speed or flash duration. But the tones of the skin and some, you know, as a simple picture it might work, but I think the tones is a major issue here. That is a kind of a purplish, looks like it's not kind of a healthy. Again, a car. This is kind of funny because you don't know if these are real. I've seen Felix Hernandez pictures and they are amazing. I mean, this could be a scale model or not, so you never know. And even from the depth of field, it's kind of hard to say if it's a composite or not, because I think it's done really good job, because the focus area goes here. Usually I don't like these, that it seems that it's slightly desaturated, but I think here it's kind of overexposed and the vignette is kind of too hard, so it eats out these parts. But as overall, I think this is a really nice picture, and I don't know if it's a scale model or real, but anyways, it's a real nice. And the lighting in the car is really cool. For my taste, slightly underexposed. The light is coming from this direction, doesn't give much of a form to much of anything. All these back things here are kind of distracting. Going like straight from cutting the head, and I don't, in a way it's hard to kind of get the story in this picture. Why is she wearing a mask on this, looks like a fishing boat? So contrast, yes, but I don't know, kind of hard to tell the story, and slightly underexposed for my taste. And these kind of pictures might benefit of slightly color grading them. Some graduation pictures, like basic portrait in natural light, shallow depth of field, good smile, and you will see a lot of these, but there's, you know, small things can change these kind of pictures. Slightly, it's like a reference picture of a graduation shot in a way. So I would recommend to kind of get the story in again. Try to find a character of the person in these pictures. Maybe do some testing with tones, and so in a way, as a really nice basic pictures. Retouching wise, some of the stray hairs could be retouched, things like that. Okay, digital art, Mr. Kormu, I know this guy has done this. I think it's like some parts of photography and some are in a way painted there. Composite, really nice. Could be a poster of some game or whatever. I think it's a good job. Shallow depth of field, I think works as this kind of a picture nicely. Some Alice in Wonderland thing. I noticed later on that there's some, you know, birds flying there and some glowing things. She seems to be worried, but I think that's the whole thing, kind of a dark forest. But in a way, retouching wise, if you want to show these kind of birds, maybe they should be, because they look kind of out of shape. So try to come up with the style of retouching that if you put this kind of, they should have a meaning, and they should have, you could see them better. The center balanced, everything in the middle. Hard to think what is the story, what is it running, in a way, and what are these glowing things. A potential to be a really good picture. Okay, this seems to be like a frozen, like under ice maybe. I think this is like a reasonably good job done, but this is definitely not the easiest task to do, these kind of things. There's a couple of things. There's a really highlight here and almost like a lens flare here, and I don't know where the lens flare should be coming here. But as a concept, like a person under the ice, and I mean, it's a good, but it could be explored to be even better. Okay, then a horse and a woman. I think the lens flare is, and the light and the lens flare is taking all my attention. In a way, it's kind of she's just holding the bow. It seems that this is just, in a way, more or less like a gimmick in this picture, just kind of show that she's a fighter, but there's something in the pose that could be... I'm really sure that there's a lot of more frames in this whole photo shoot that might be better, because again, this is really center balanced picture. Everything is here in the center, even the sky is kind of a... totally cloudless, and definitely this will draw all my attention first, not this part. So, but I like the dress in a way and the concept, but I'm sure that there's a lot of more better frames of that photo shoot. Okay, then she looks kind of a tough girl, bit of smoke. Again, the smoke is sometimes that it just looks like the smoke is added because of the smoke. And this is again the situation that the smoke is almost like a gimmick to add in these frames. And there's no thinking behind it. Let's just put a purple smoke. And I don't even know if it is a composite image or not. Kind of hard to say. I think it's a straight flash because there's a shadow back here. Yeah. Okay, then a simple portrait that has been heavily winged here. You know, you kind of feel it, but I think it's again missing something, and I think it's been slightly cut off from the background, because you will see some of this edge halo to kind of make it all black. But simple, I kind of get it, but I think the gradients here and here, kind of eating the picture out. Okay, some horrorish stuff. I definitely wouldn't want to meet this person in the basement. There's definitely some kind of a story, but you don't see, you will see the hair, but it's kind of the resolution or the darkness is kind of eating out all this away. But good kind of a picture anyways of this horror thing. Good job. Usually I don't like these, that is a black and white picture and some part is just saturated or in color. Highlights slightly overblown. It seems these are the eyes, there's some kind of a branches or bushes, so you don't see the eyes. I think this might be better in color, even like a tinted, like washed out colors. Some landscape, the interiors. I think the sky is here replaced, and also this light is created here. So could use slightly more. These areas are overblown. So the retouching wise, I think it's taking a bit too far. I think the overall picture might be just to kind of add clarity and kind of frame it differently. This might be a really nice picture. You don't need to do these kind of light leaks, and especially to change the sky. Again, I think this is like a graduation, doctor hat and a sword. I think again the format really rectangular. The tones are, I think it's over retouched, making some kind of a glow in the sword, all the highlights here in the cheekbones. So for me, for my taste, too center balance again. Nothing in a way kind of stands out, you know, in some form, and the colors are slightly oversaturated. You could kind of test out what works best, but all these are kind of done too much. Good portrait. This is the thing that I'm kind of wondering where the light is coming from, and it's kind of a really heavy highlight on this side of the eye. It's nicely retouched, maybe slightly too much retouching, or in a way the wrong retouching. Couple of light spots in the eyes. You will kind of see that there's a kind of a fill light here, but in a way retouching, but this is something that I'm looking on the eye, why it's like a different color. Another portrait, really much grain in the picture. For my taste, again, a bit too much clarity, too much of a burned highlights, and kind of too much of a noise, and these white winget or frames, you know, might be better without them. Might be a scale model picture in the sky. I mean, done reasonably well. I mean, I don't have much of a bad thing to say. Only maybe these clouds here are kind of not the same quality. The compression is eating out them, so you could kind of get better clouds on this area. But as this kind of a scale model picture, I think it's a really nicely done. There was, I think, the most of the pictures of this review. I think it's really fun to kind of watch these pictures, and as I promised, I will give some awards also. And this time I think it's really hard to find, kind of get the best of these images, and the reasoning why I'm giving a kind of award for that. But this time around, the award anyways, it's I will give my upcoming Digital Artist Masterclass workshop for this person when it's out next month. And I'm thinking that the person who should receive this award is person who did this picture. I really like it. I like the tones, and so good job on that. And I will get your name in the description and also in this video when it's done. So hopefully you like these reviews. It's a rather long video now, but hopefully it's a learning process. Hopefully you'll had interest to watch it all the way through. If you haven't downloaded my free Lightroom presets that I showed, go to the link below. If you like these videos, put a thumbs up, subscribe my channel, and write a comment. What was your favorite picture of this all these? So the theme for next review, it's reflection, and you can do whatever you feel like it on that theme. And I will post also the theme and the deadline to the Facebook group, link in the description. And hopefully we will see a lot of cool pictures in the next review. And of course there's another reward in the end for best pictures that I think that deserves it. So thank you for taking part of this review. It will be my pleasure, and I will see you on my next video. Cheers.